Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We stream it live on YouTube. We on Facebook. And, of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! The first preseason game is in the books, and we are going to recap it. Overreaction Monday. We're going to overreact, have a normal reaction. Either way, we are reacting to that first game. Lots of standouts, lots of things to talk about, right? Up, down, it doesn't matter. We're all going to cover it today. Also, we're going to jump into the film room a little bit, but in a bit of a different way. Man. We're going to have fun with this recap today, Cowboys Nation. So if you want to call into the show, feel free. I know it's going to be a lot of y'all that have a lot to say, and I want to talk to the nation, or, as I say, the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
About it. 351-999-3787. What's good, y'all? How you feeling? The first week of preseason's in the books, and I was excited to watch it. I actually had to watch this game via the airport. So I was at the airport on my phone because they didn't put it up. I was all the way on the East Coast. They didn't have it up there because, Cowboys, right? They didn't have it on up there, so I'm watching it on my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, can't wait to get back home to rewatch it. Came back home, rewatched it, got the tape yesterday, rewatched it, and we have a lot to discuss. There was a lot of good things to take out of this game, specifically, right down here, the young talent. But there was also some veterans that were fighting to remain on this roster that put some good tape out there too. So we'll probably be all over the place after I get through the first part of my show. But that's fine. There was a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, a lot of excitement going into the fourth week, I believe, of training camp out there in Oxnard as they flew back. They flew back to Oxnard. Practice will pick up this week as we get into preseason game number 2 later on against the Seattle Seahawks. So let's get right into it, and something different today. We're not going to jump into the roundup. We're going to jump into the film room, ladies and gentlemen, and recap Jaguars Cowboys AT&T Stadium, very first game of the Dallas Cowboys season. Now, let's get into this offense. The first team offense really wasn't a whole lot for him. Wasn't a whole lot. But Jake Ferguson, smooth as fast. Fast as smooth. Fergie was smooth out there, Cowboys Nation, in his first preseason game. Continues to show that he can be tight end one for this team. I don't know why he kind of gets the disrespect that he does, but Jake Ferguson is tight end one right now. Had 3 receptions for 36 yards, converted a 3rd and 7 early on in the game, made the biggest catch of the game at 26 yards, and continues to show that underrated athleticism that he has. Now, why didn't the offense get going? Well, a lot of it had to do with the offensive line. A lot of it had to do with picking up blitzes and pressure on the quarterback. And this is one of the sacks right here where, unfortunately, there's nothing that Cooper Rush can do right there. Let's take it back, though. This is what is going to put Malik Davis in the doghouse more than anything else. He misses this blitz pickup by number 5 coming in late. And this is why people are clamoring for someone to do this. Now, Rico Dowdle is the guy that does this the best, I think, right now. But Malik Davis needed to put better film out there today or yesterday to cement his roster spot. Y'all remember I said we're going to carry 4 running backs? Overreaction Monday. I was just playing. Now, Malik Davis definitely has to step up and come back from that game yesterday. Didn't run the ball well either, but this was the one right here that they're probably going to talk about in the film room. Oh, hey, Jalen Tolbert with a circus catch. Put a pin in Jalen Tolbert. That was a great awareness catch right there. But Cooper Rush got the ball out at 2.18 seconds on Saturday. 2.18. That kind of follows what he did last year when he was like 2.2 seconds. But this is kind of the thing that kind of annoys me with it, is that he makes his mind up and he's going to miss that. But it's all good. No interception, gets tipped, and Jalen Tolbert shows the fantastic awareness. Now, Malik Davis, you couldn't get it done. Rico, can you get it done? Cooper Rush drops back, finds Rico Dowdle underneath, quick dump off. That's what you do in this offense. He makes a guy miss, shows the catch, shows the yak ability, shows the elusiveness, but he fumbles at the end of the play. Come on, Rico. Come on. Dumps it off, makes a guy miss. You show that explosiveness. Now, Rico Dowdle, let's take a look at this here. Great effort by Jalen Tolbert downfield. Great effort by Kevontae Turpin. But here's a problem with Kevontae Turpin, man. He's so damn little. Just runs right through Kevontae Turpin and strips the ball. Now, Rico has to protect it. He's got to know that there's some collision coming on. He's got to put both hands on that ball. Switch it if he can, but at the very least, put both hands on that ball. He doesn't do it, gets stripped. Ball comes out inside the 5. Jacksonville recovers, and that's where we're at. Now, I wanted to point this out. This was something that I said on social media. Let me talk to you real quick. Or as my guy would say.
Let me talk to you.
There was a point in time in this offseason where Brian Schottenheimer said, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be in the booth. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on the field, and he'll get a feel for it. Watching Brian Schottenheimer, a.k.a. Shotty, on the sidelines, I hope he's on the sidelines, and here's why. A guy like Will Grier started off this game very muddy, right? There was a lot going on. He was getting pressure. He was getting sacked. It just wasn't clicking for him. But if you've listened to Brian Schottenheimer, you can tell he's a guy that can motivate. He's a guy that can get you to rally. And that's exactly what he did, in my opinion, with Will Grier. Will Grier ended up finishing today at 22 for 31. And I think a lot of that had to do with this guy, Brian Schottenheimer, calming him down, coming on the sidelines, talking to him, and getting him back in this game. So that's something to keep an eye on. He can be a filter for Mike McCarthy and these quarterbacks. And when things get tight, sometimes you need that guy. John Kitna was that guy at one point. I don't believe Kellen was that guy because Kellen was trying to figure out what the next play was. That is what Mike McCarthy is going to be doing, right? He's going to be figuring out how to put these guys in best position. But I think Brian Schottenheimer can be that voice for all these quarterbacks, yes, including Dak Prescott, to kind of get them going when things get tight. So that was something I noticed, and I think it's very important to point out if he's going to be on the sidelines. Wait a minute now. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a damn screen, ladies and gentlemen. We ran a couple of these screens in the game and executed them very well. Again, preseason, but I don't give a damn. We didn't run a lot of good screens, but we got one off here. Rico Dowdle bounces back from his earlier mishap. You get the lineman out in front, follows the big guys, makes a guy miss, and gets downfield for some extra yardage. So shots out to Rico Dowdle for not letting that play get to him for the remainder of the game. Rico also had a fantastic run on the kickoff too. So I know a lot of people were going to get on Rico for the fumble, and rightfully so, but he did a lot of good things to combat that fumble he had early in the game. And here we go with Jalen Tolbert, and I have here growth. I know this was offensive PI, allegedly, but this is exactly what you want to see from Jalen Tolbert, what you saw from South Alabama, the ability to get downfield and make those contested catches. And I don't care that this was allegedly offensive pass interference. He skied up, he went up, he got both of his feet down, and he continues to show that he has a second-year growth. And this is part of his growth right here. Jalen Tolbert is going to be in the middle here in the slot. This touchdown, to me, a lot of it had to do with the nuance of his route running. He's going to sell that sit down, and watch what it does to this linebacker right here. That split second, biting on that sit. Then he comes across for the slant and an easy touchdown for Jalen Tolbert. So you love to see Tolbert carry over this preseason success. Camp success into preseason. I think he's got this wide receiver 4 locked up. Probably don't even need to see that much for him. But let's not get it twisted. It was 100% the Deuce Vaughn show, ladies and gentlemen, or as you guys call him, the Smole show. Deuce Vaughn, a star was made yesterday. I don't give a damn if it's preseason, because these are the things at the running back position that stand out, the traits that I think translate into the regular season as well. And that's the ability to make dudes miss and to be elusive. I mean, look at the quickness and the shiftiness of Deuce Vaughn, Cowboys Nation. I mean, I don't care who that is out there. That's tough to handle. And this was the play that got everybody excited. And that was Deuce Vaughn's about 20-something yard run where he made two dudes collide each other like that right there. Excuse me, sir. I have a wife at home. I am a boy Damon. Look, I don't give a damn about Deuce Vaughn being 5'0". He can do this as well. Look at that Texas route, arrow route, choice route, whatever you want to call it. We talked about this coming out of college. He is going to be impossible to deal with one-on-one with these choice routes. Goes up and gets it. I know he's 5'5". He got to jump for regular balls. But if he puts this on his chest, which is a tough thing to do if you look at this pressure right here, this is a walk-in touchdown for Deuce Vaughn. Nonetheless, skies up, gets it. And you know what, Deuce? You got us down here. Finish this thing off. That's exactly what he does. Wait. I was told he's too little to get those carries down there. Well, he's not, man. This is just his vision, his elusiveness is something that the Cowboys are just going to have to put the ball in his. I don't give a damn how big he is. And we kind of heard this a little bit from Mike McCarthy. When Mike McCarthy said, hey, it was important. It is important to get him involved. I think it was Kyle on there, call him RB Deuce. Look, I don't care where you want to put him on a depth chart. I don't care if you say he can't block. You have to have a week in, week out game plan to put the rock in this guy's hands. He is like that, man. 100% like that. Went from the Deuce Vaughn show to the John Stevens show. John Stevens in the last 3 minutes of this game absolutely took over. And he did it on the backs of Will Grier going to him. And this was one of those plays where Will Grier stepped up, got outside the pocket, and John Stevens kept moving, caught the rock, got upfield for a 21-yard gain, and said, okay, I'm going to come right back to Stevens. Here's a problem, though, Will. You got to make a little bit better pass and maybe sell this a little bit better at the top. Gets picked off. But this is why I wanted to point that out. Yes, he threw an interception. Yes, it was to John Stevens. But the veteran quarterback said, I'm going right back to you. Nice little quick turnaround here. Box out, catch the rock, secure it, move forward. Next play, who you think it's going to? John Stevens. Next play, who you think it's going to? You guessed it. John Stevens. This time he does climb the pocket. Will Grier finds John Stevens wide open, turns around, walks in for the touchdown. And that kind of leads me to my standouts on offense. Now, again, you can say there are many standouts, and now I'm only listing 5 here, right? On both sides of the ball. But I want to talk about the 5 guys I wanted to feature today. And I want to start at the bottom here with Awesome Richards. Now, I didn't highlight Awesome Richards or anything like that, but when you went back and you watched the tape on Awesome Richards, I think there was a lot more to like than there was to not like, especially at tackle. I highlighted a few things on Twitter and I put it out there, but he looked comfortable at tackle, y'all. There's something to possibly keeping him at left tackle, especially if you don't really have a swing guy right now. I know technically that the left guard, Tyler Smith, can slide out there, but I really, really like what I saw. You saw the patience. You saw him be able to deal with the speed to power. I mean, look, man, he's not a powerful dude at the guard position, and you can see that sometimes. He's not as technical in there, but out there at left tackle, he looked comfortable. And honestly, I think I would keep him at left tackle moving forward, because you might have to dip in there if something happens or when something happens to Tyron Smith. You could also go out there and just get a tackle. But nonetheless, Awesome Richards, I think, deserves to be highlighted here. Played over 50 snaps and only gave up 2 pressures. And I don't think a lot of those came at the tackle spot. He did play some guard, but I thought the tackle tape was much, much better. John Stevens Jr. We just got a chance to look at John Stevens on that last drive of the game. All 4 of his 5 catches came in the last 3 minutes, and he kind of took over at the end there. But here's the thing. It wasn't the pass catching for me, for John Stevens. We know he can do that. He's a converted wide receiver, went to tight end. We know the athletic ability is there. We know he can catch the rock. And he really didn't even get a chance to show off the supreme athletic ability that he has. These were kind of just standard catches there. It was the blocking. John Stevens Jr.'s blocking to me was what, in my opinion, showed out more on tape than his pass catching ability. He's a guy, again, wide receiver to tight end. You don't expect these dudes to be able to come in here and in year one, be able to block well enough to get out there, down in, down out. And we still are a ways away from that type of comfortability. But I will say this. He put the type of tape out there that will allow you to say, hey, we got to get him some more snaps, maybe with the second team now, right? Maybe instead of getting most of his snaps at later in the game, fourth quarter, let's get him some snaps in that first, second quarter so we can see what he can do against better competition. But John Stevens Jr. and Jake Ferguson, those 2 tight ends stood out the most to me. Jake, again, I don't know what more you need to see from Jake. Honestly, I don't think that I would run him out there that much more, especially if he's going to be a tight end one, which he should be. But he continues to show what he is. He's showing his growth. Listen to this. Jake Ferguson, over the preseason game last year, regular season, postseason, and then the preseason game this year. Let me just tell you how good this guy is when it comes to catching a rock. 33 targets, 30 receptions, 0 drops. 33 targets, 30 receptions, 0 drops. For anyone questioning his athletic ability, it's underrated. I keep saying, go back to Wisconsin and you will see that he can rise up and get the rock. You will see that he can make contested catches. He's a tough dude. The play that he had in the big play, I should say, that he had in this game, he got rocked at the end. So, again, people get this thing twisted. They think, oh, well, Jake can't get up the seams. He absolutely can. He did that. Well, can he make contested catches? That's pretty much all he did in this game was make contested catches and deal with hits. Can he block? Come on, man. Jake Ferguson is one of your most dependable blockers on this team. He comes from Big Ten country. He's a former linebacker. He is not afraid of the smoke up there to block guys. And he put on great tape last year doing so. Jake Ferguson is your best tight end on this team. And a lot of people, when I talked about this yesterday on Twitter, they took that as a chance to take a shot at the second round pick. That's a different conversation for another time. But I wanted to point out that Jake Ferguson absolutely has continued to earn that shot at tight end 1 and that spot at tight end 1. Let's not get it twisted, Cowboys Nation, at all. And then you had Jalen Tolbert, who just keeps making that second year jump. His first NFL touchdown. I don't care if it's preseason. That's something that you need to continue to gain that confidence. And he just looks like he belongs now. You see the South Alabama Jalen Tolbert. You see the nuance in his route running. You see the confidence that he has going up and getting the rock. He's just a quiet assassin in a sense, right? I don't even think there's a competition anymore at this position, wide receiver 4. And again, you could make an argument, maybe one more game for Jalen and not chill. I mean, this is still your 3rd round pick, and he put on good tape out there at camp. He's putting on good tape in preseason 1. Roll him out there week 2. See if he continues that. And let's see if we can get these other guys. Because a guy like Jalen Moreno-Cropper only plays something like 11 snaps or whatever it was. You ain't going to get a whole lot when Jalen Tolbert's out there and he's continuing to try to establish himself. But I think he's established. So Jalen Tolbert and then Deuce Vaughn. What more can we say about Deuce Vaughn? I said it during the highlight here. I don't care if it's RB2, 3. I don't care what number you want to put on it. He needs to be involved. And I think he will. Before the preseason even started, it sounded like he will. You saw him out there at camp and you heard Coach McCarthy talk about it a lot. But now you're seeing his skill set against opposing teams. that translates. I don't care if it's Fred Warner. I don't care if it's whomever, defensive player of the year coming at him. He can make you miss. Now, is he going to move the pile? Nah, he's not going to do that. He's not going to move the pile. But what he can do with making you miss at the line of scrimmage is important. Here's why. In that game, the run blocking was not great. The offense line in general got better throughout the game, but it wasn't like this was some amazing run blocking. This was all Deuce. Deuce gets to the line of scrimmage and he makes you miss at the line of scrimmage. And how many times over the years have I said, hey, when you're blocking and it's tough and you're struggling on the ground, put the ball in somebody's hands that can make guys miss to get those extra yards or pop a big one. That's what Deuce Vaughn can do for you, man. And imagine him behind that starting lineup. So those are some of the offensive standouts. There was other guys who made some plays here and there as well, but I wanted to highlight these 5 guys to begin the show. Well, Scott, what about on defense? Well, I'm glad you asked, Cowboys Nation. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball that started off with Wanye Thomas picking off Trevor Lawrence. Wait a minute. This isn't practice. This is a game, folks. Do you think they're going to talk about it? Probably not. But great pick by Wanye Thomas to start off the defensive side. By the way, starters. This was Etienne, Kirk, Trevor Lawrence starting offensive line. Doug Peterson rolled them out there, and the Cowboys rolled their second team out there. On the first possession, they get an interception. Second possession, Damone Clark and WM Demo, a.k.a. DeMarvion Overshown, started to show out. You are seeing the youth and the physical ability of having young guys that can fly around the ball in Demo and Clark. Those 2 guys had a fantastic game, but it was this play that set the tone in that second possession, man. Look at Demo hitting that. Now watch everybody though. It wasn't just DeMarvion Overshown. He finished that play and he finished it well. But watch everybody. First of all, let's check out your first round pick here, who is there doing what he's supposed to do, clogging up that lane, dismembering this center or guard, and allowing other guys to run free. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Take a look at Osa Odigizua. Absolutely destroys this guard or tackle, and he gets in the backfield, causing that traffic to make guys go a different route. And then, of course, you had Sam Bam, thank you, man, Williams, right here, number 54, to your right, hit 2 guys. And you got DeMarvion Overshown finishing the play. I'm excited for what could be between Demo and Damone Clark. Not even would be, I think will be. It's just a matter of when will it be. So the Cowboys, they get off the field on the first possession against their starters. They get off the field, second possession against their starters. Let's see what you got, Kevontae Turpin. Come on now, baby. Take one to the crib. Chargers. Oh, boy. This is what you can do, Turp. This is what you can do. After your defense has 2 fantastic stops, Kevontae Turpin takes the punt, fumbles it, and he knows it. Right here, his head's in the ground, and he's just sick. He's sick. He knows it. I can't do that. And if I'm going to do that, now I got to make up for it on offense. He made a couple good catches, but if you had to do a stock down, if we were going to do that type of show, Kevontae Turpin would absolutely be stock down. And what happens after you fumble that? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You ain't going to fool me 3 times. They capitalize. You got Christian Kirk, Trevor Lawrence. They hook up in the back of the end zone. And I got here, Kirk is too shifty for McQuamu. The reason why I say this, I mentioned this months ago with Israel McQuamu. By the way, he got most of his snaps at slot cornerback. I'm fine with using McQuamu as a weapon of sorts against big slots and whatnot. But when I watched the film, even the good film in the playoffs, I said, I don't know that he is able to deal with the shifty guys. 6'4", he's a pterodactyl. He's tall, he's long, but the hip quickness is tough when you're that tall. And Kirk is one of the quickest dudes out the slot. Got beat off the line of scrimmage, couldn't make up with it with his speed, and they scored the touchdown. So they decided to see, let's see what McQuamu can do mostly at slot cornerback in this game. And they gave Tyler Coyle and those guys all the opportunity, and Wyatt Thomas at safety. And if we were doing a stock down, I probably will put Izzy there for right now, but it's still Izzy, third-year guy. He got a chance to bounce back next week, and I think he will. Well, how did your first-round pick do? There was a whole lot of talk online about Mozzie Smith after the broadcast view. A whole lot of it. And I said, well, a position like this, let's wait a little bit. Let's wait until we see the tape. And I think the tape told an entirely different story for Mozzie Smith, who played 33 snaps, had to stop, and he had to hurry. Look, you're not going to see a guy who plays that type of position that's going to put up a whole bunch of sacks, but you saw the strength that he played with. You saw him take on multiple blockers, 2 and sometimes 3 at a time, and you saw him clog those lanes. He actually, in my opinion, was much better than what the consensus online was talking about. And again, a lot of the times groupthink can happen, but Mozzie Smith did his job. He did his job. Now, he has some work to do. Don't get it twisted. But this right here is what makes Mozzie Smith a special run defender. Absolutely just dismembers this cat. Who's this? 67? Not sure your name, brother. Takes on the double team. Excuse me, sir. I got somewhere to be in the backfield and body slam. I get it. It's one play. But these are the traits. These are the traits that you see from Mozzie Smith that you say, that's it. That's why you drafted this guy. Now, there's more work to be done. He'll tell you that. He's still working on his get off. It's improved, believe it or not, but it's not where he needs it to be. It's not where you want it to be. But there's no denying that Mozzie Smith showcased the power. He showcases immovability, and he has to work on some refinement of technique and whatnot. He plays tall sometimes, right? He's not firing out with any purpose consistently, but there are clearly building blocks with Mozzie Smith out there that you see and you can get excited about, especially when you say, hey, when Jonathan Hankins is off the field, do we have a guy that can continue to make it tough on guys to run in between the tackles? Yes. Yes. Once again, the interior when Mozzie was out there wasn't the reason why the Jaguars were going off from a run game standpoint. They were hitting the outside. You saw some of these guys lose containment, and that's why you saw these guys getting big chunk plays on the outside. But it wasn't running up the middle when Mozzie Smith was out there or Bohanna was out there. So kudos to them. But Mozzie Smith, I had to put him there. I know a lot of people would disagree based off of what they saw originally on the broadcast view, but there's no doubt in my mind that I think he was a standout in this game to me. Marquise Bell, another cat that I have up here as a defensive standout. Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas, we can talk about both of them right now because I have Wanye up there. Both of them made plays. Bell had 10 tackles in this game, 4 stops. You saw him be that physical kind of downhill presence that he showed last year in preseason and a few snaps in the regular season. But I don't want to say he's the forgotten guy in this because he was kind of always factored into that safety room. But Wanye Thomas is a guy who needed to continue to make plays, showed that, hey, I could step up with some of these safeties being injured in training camp. And he made a play. He made a big play yesterday. He also has some teach tape. Like Mozzie Smith has teach tape. Marquise Bell has some teach tape. And just like Wanye Thomas, Bell and Thomas both kind of got caught peeking inside, didn't contain on the outside. And that's when you saw those running backs get big plays. But all of a sudden, that safety room getting a bit spooky in regards to who's going to make this team. Thomas is staking his claim. And what makes Thomas unique, y'all, is that he's a roof guy. He's a free safety. And the Cowboys don't have a ton of free safeties on this team, right? So if Wanye Thomas can continue to make this thing tough, you could argue there could be a battle here between Wanye Thomas and Bell. Or do you slide in Izzy? Again, another discussion. But shouts out to Bell, shouts out to Thomas making plays. And then you got Demo and you got Damone Clark. These two, I believe, are the future. When we drafted DeMarvion Overshown, that's what I love about DeMarvion Overshown. After I did my homework on and off the field about this cat, I came back and I said to you guys, look, this kid's going to figure it out. he threw all three levels. We'll see where they put him at. You know, some hybrid stuff, some pass rush stuff, some linebacker stuff. There's not really a box he fits into right now. But here's the thing. Whatever they ask him to do, he's going to figure it out. This dude's energy is infectious. He loves the game. I said he has that Micah Parsons love of the game. He has the athletic ability. He was flying all over the place. It didn't look too big for him. He wasn't overextending himself, overrunning plays. And it goes back to the mentality, right? Where we talked about this with him coming out. A guy who was All-American safety out of high school, played, 2 years at safety in Texas, and then moved down to linebacker and did it well. I don't think you can just ignore that. It was kind of the inverse with Micah Parsons, where people were questioning Micah Parsons at linebacker. And I'm like, yo, he played defensive end and went and played linebacker and was All-American. There's something to that. And it was something to Demo being able to do that. And the only thing I wanted to see was where or how are they going to use him? Right now, it looks like as a pure linebacker. And Demo is stepping up to that plate, making plays in camp, obviously making plays in the game. And then you got Damone Clark. Damone Clark looks like the glue guy, the middle linebacker glue guy that you want to solidify a front seven. I know LVE is the guy right now. And last year, everyone, including me, was nervous when he went out because you didn't have the experience. I think Damone Clark, year two, having the offseason, having tape for him to study, not showing any signs of issues with the back, he is clearly taking a year two jump. He is comfortable out there. You see him going, you see that sideline to sideline speed. He's 6'3", 240, so he ain't afraid to go north-south either. Neither two of these guys are. They might not be 6'5", 260, but none of these guys are afraid of that contact, in my opinion, contrary to some people saying that about Damone Clark. But Damone Clark was one of my guys that I said, we talking about Sam Williams having this crazy year two breakout, which I think he will. I think Damone Clark is going to have that type of breakout that we're putting on Sam. It would not surprise me if he led this team in tackles, and I ain't just talking about 6 yards downfield. I'm talking about meaningful tackles, making forced fumbles, stops, tackles for loss. Him and DeMarvion Overshown showed me a ton last year that should get you, or the other day, that should get you excited for the future of the position, man. And it's just a matter of when is the future. I'm gonna just say this, LVE, you better not get hurt this year. You better not get hurt this year. Now he has the front office and the coaching staff's confidence. And it was easy to say, hey, slide LVE right back in there when he got hurt. Because Anthony Barr wasn't it. Damone Clark needed that veteran presence. I don't think Damone Clark needs that veteran presence this year. And if Demo can make plays if he's out there, if he gets the next nod, which I think he's that next guy. I'm just saying, it's early. It's overreaction Monday. I'm going to overreact. Demo and Damone Clark, I think, are your future at a position. Just a matter of when is that future. And then a couple other guys. Again, I've only listed 5, but there were a couple other players defensively that are worthy of having, a good quarter or what have you. Kelvin Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin Joseph had, I think, his best preseason game to date. He had a game in his rookie year against the Chargers, but I think Kelvin Joseph, if you look at the plays that he wasn't involved in, because he had the pass breakup, which was a fantastic pass breakup. But I'm talking about the plays that they didn't go his way. I wanted to see, was he with his guy? Was there an awareness to it? He played primarily in the slot, and he did some good things. So Kelvin Joseph is a guy that I think came out of this game gaining some confidence. We want to see a guy like KJ gain some confidence if he's going to make this roster. Another guy, Devin Harper, backup, maybe LB4 right now, right? He came in and showed that athleticism that he has. Devin Harper is more of a downhill guy, not going to be a drop back coverage dude, but he flies. He's a 4-4 dude, and he continues to show that he can run. So Devin Harper is another dude who stepped up, as well as Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land, we talked about guys that were quiet, right? That need to make some noise. Kelvin Joseph, Devin Harper were two of the dudes, right? And Isaiah Land is another one. he showed that sack king kind of get after it ability in this game. Now, again, he only got a chance to really get going in the late second half of this game, talking about, late third and fourth quarter, but he got after it, man. He put a ton of pressure on the quarterback. Shout out to the quarterback too, the Rourke kid. He was really good in this game. But Isaiah Land had 4 or 5 pressures in this game and gave the tackles fits when he can dip that shoulder like you see right there. Now, it wasn't all clean for Isaiah Land. There's some teach tape for him, and a lot of that is peeking in the backfield or getting caught up and not containing, right? But from a pure pass rushing standpoint, he got after it. But here's the teach tape that you're going to go in there and say, hey, kid, great game, but we need you to contain that outside. And look, that's tough. That's just going to be tough for a rookie. I know they see these type of plays in college football, but the NFL, they're going to run right at you if they notice that you can't keep containment. But I think Isaiah Land, worthy of noting that he was one of those dudes that got after it there in that fourth quarter with that unit. So, I mean, there's more too. There's more players, but these are the guys that I wanted to feature, Cowboys Nation, for my standouts on defense. Mozzie Smith, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, DeMarvion Overshown, and one Damone Clark. Worthy of a boom. So there you have it. Kind of our highlighted version of the recap of what happened on Saturday. The Cowboys lost, but I mean, we're talking about preseason. Win-loss doesn't matter. We're not looking at that. I told you guys the other day, we're looking at individuals. We want to see how these guys individually stood out, or whether it be good or bad, in this game. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and turn the page here, and I want to hear from y'all on the phone lines. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. Allow me to take a quick little drink here before we get into it, because that was a whole lot. But I had fun with that. I think I might keep that up here during the preseason. Let's hit the phone line and talk to Los first. Cowboys Nation. What's good, Los?
Good morning. Man. Hey, great preseason game so far. I mean, hey, it's just a preseason, so who cares about a win or loss?
Sure.
But, real quickly, man, just offense and defense. I mean, offensively, you have to like what you saw from Tolbert. He looks way more comfortable, like you said. He doesn't have that first-year jitters, and we might have something with the fourth wide receiver rotational piece within. Now, as for Deuce Vaughn, man, this guy, his cutting ability is greater than the sushi chef. Because damn, did you see how he made 2 Jaguars tackle each other?
I did.
That was nasty, boy. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's exciting to have a running back that can find the lane and explode at it. And one thing is his size. A lot of people are concerned about his size, but I mean, a football player is a football player, Sky. I mean, if he can play football, I respect him all to it, And who knows? He might be inspiring the other individuals who are the short kings of this world, right? But man, Deuce Vaughn is that dude, and hey, I'm just glad we got him for the round we got him. As far as defense,
an absolute steal.
Go ahead.
He was an absolute steal, man. You don't find guys like that in the 6th round with that production out of college, but the size. That's really it. That's really it.
Yeah, and as far as defensive, I'll shout out the football channel real quick. It's called The Football Scout. He's on YouTube. But a lot of people were talking bad about Mozzie, and I had to really look at the tape. And like you said, Scott, he was doing his job. All these Cowboys fans that are saying, "Oh, he didn't do a good job just because he didn't get sacks," you're not watching football. Your job in football is to do your job, make sure that at least you get double teams or whatever, and clean your linebackers so they can have a clean look. And I'm pretty sure he did that most of the game. And as far as another Overshown, like you said, guy, I mean, it's exciting to have linebackers in the Cowboys because it's been a while since we had some linebackers. I mean, I'm going back to 2010, 2011. I'm like, damn, who were our linebackers back then? To now have a group of studs like we have, hey, it's a blessing, Sky. I'm really excited for this year. I'm not going to take too much of your time. First preseason game out the way. Let's keep rocking and let's go. Let's be up, Cowboys Nation. Like I'm telling you, Sky, we have a potential to be that team. The only people that can stop us is ourselves. Now let's go out and put it on the field. Peace out.
All right, salute. Appreciate you. All right, let's keep it bussing here with Deshaun. Wait. Did I get you on Deshaun? Nah, I got you, Deshaun. What's good, man?
Got it. Hey, whatever. How it feels? How it feel to get the Cowboy football back into
Man, I was talking to Vosh yesterday. It felt good to get back into real work, and studying the film and whatnot and breaking everything down. I'm glad it's back, man. It's back.
All right. So I got make it quick. I got 3 studs and 3 duds. So one of the duds is the kicker, and I know he made 2 of the kicks, but I feel like the Cowboys are so in love about his power. Like the thing about that is you can have a lot of power, but if you don't have any accuracy, there's no point of having power in your kick. So
yeah, that was
kind
Greg
of
Zerline. You know, we dealt with that with Greg.
Yeah. So I think that's where they're going. So hopefully they see like, hey, like, we might need to get a kicker in quickly. So that will be like, handled. The next dud I would say is Turpin. I feel like with Turpin, he tries to do too much. Like he tries to split a double team. That's like in basketball. If basketball time people know, that's like trying to split a double team. If you try to split a double team, what's going to end up happening? You're going to what? You're going to lose the ball. So it's like he has to know when to come out and when not to come out. Because also his vision is kind of bad. So I feel like if Deuce comes out and produce we'll talk more about him later, produce more in the punting and kickoff, he might not be here because, Scott, I promise you, if we get into a close game and this man cost us a game because he got a fumble, I'm sorry, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it because the simple things, it's the little things. I get it. He wants to make a play, but sometimes just get us the ball and let the offense flow from there.
Sure, yeah. And last one.
Last one. And then the last dud to me is Josh Ball. He got to get his out of here. I'm sorry. He's just no. Yeah, I've seen too many. I looked at the tape. I've seen too many times where pressure comes from his side, and I'm just like. And then you hear Mike talking about he want to get more reps. I'm like, no, Mike, he don't need more reps. He needs to be going. So that's my duds on it. So hey, my 3 studs, I'll make it quick, is Deuce, Overshine, and to me, Mozzie. I feel like Mozzie really did his job. So that's my other take on it.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Deshaun. Salute.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we're gonna go through these a little bit quick. We gotta okay. Let me go ahead and lock it now because we are filled up here. Josh Ball. So again, Austin Richards to me was the best offensive lineman. I don't even think it was particularly close. We need help. We need help, man. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm not sold on. I mean, it's Josh Ball. Nobody's sold on Josh Ball. Yeah, is he a better run blocker? Yeah, he's a better run blocker, but he ain't like that type of run blocker. I mean, there was a play where Rico Dowdle could have hit this thing, man. And Josh Ball is kind of we run a lot of duo. Shout out to Solari. That's why if Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, there's a lot of duo, but within that, and I got Vosh, shout out to my brother in the chat. Vosh can explain this a little bit later on because I'm going to ask him. There's some duo and combos where you got to, attack the tackle and get upfield and get to the linebacker. And Josh Ball, there was a play. He had to get up to the linebacker and he just stumbling and bumbling and fumbling all over the place. Whiffs on the linebacker. I think 45 or whoever it was meets Rico a little bit behind past the line of scrimmage and you get nothing. And there's nothing from a technical standpoint that I see from improvement wise from Josh Ball. He looks like what he looked like last year, kind of wild all over the place and just unreliable. So, what was he better in this game than his first game last year? Yes, he was awful, god awful last year. He was a little bit better this year, specifically in the run game, but I don't know what else you want to do here. I don't think there is a Cowboy fan, and if you are, I would love to hear from you, that is comfortable rolling Josh Ball out there at any position right now. It is clear from a guard standpoint. Being 6'8" and some change is hard for Josh Ball. It didn't come easy like a Robert Gallery. So, yeah, give him more reps if you want, McCarthy. But you need to have a backup plan. Let's talk to a Pro Bowl caller here, Marcus. What's good, Marcus?
Hey, man, let me get some reps in you first, man, before you put me on it. How you doing, family?
Good, man. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, hey, just loving some football is back, man. Hey,
Yeah.
quickly, Damone Clark. If Damone Clark turns into Bobby Wagner for us, man, I think that would be the thing. That's the thing I really was looking at. And he showed some flashes, man. He showed flashes of being where he needs to be. And if he's picking up the middle of the defense, some of the calls and some of the stuff like they say he was, they put that dot on him yesterday. If he does some of that, man, he turns into Bobby Wagner. Oh wow, man! You talking about?
I mean, now that's a whole different ballgame. If he turns into Bobby Wagner, this defense goes to a different stratosphere. I don't think he needs even to be that, right? We just need him to be reliable and continue to make plays. He made a few plays last year, and when I say talk about leading the league or leading the team in tackles. We don't want it to be, and I'm not trying to come at nobody, but we don't want it to be like a former 54 on his team where, he had 139 tackles, and a lot of those tackles are downfield, where the average tackle depth is one of the worst in the league. No, we want that to be top 15, top 20 in the league, and we're making plays in the backfield. We're forcing turnovers. We're getting interceptions. That's what we want to see from a Damone Clark. If he can just do that, and this defense takes another jump. But if he's Bobby Marcus, I mean,
hey, look, man, I set my sights high with these guys, man, because unfortunately they done showed me too much, particularly Dan Quinn. So that's going. If I'm gonna set a ball, I'm gonna set it somewhere high for them dudes.
All right.
And people that don't understand, Mozzie did his job. When he started getting double teamed, because he started to get double teamed, and once they finally
and all that stuff.
Yeah. When they double teaming a guy like that, that's a young guy, a rookie, and they played him too. Because he was gas. But when they start double teaming him, he's in there making problems for people. So, hey, you all will see. That's why we're raving about DeMarvin Overshawn and Damone Clark. Give them guys their own individual credit because they still got to do it. But that's why those guys are shining because Mozzie in there messing up stuff in there for people.
Yeah,
and, I really want to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you hit the nail on the head with Mozzie, man. Like, was it clean, Marcus? No, it absolutely was not. But it's just something that I noticed is it's hard to move this man. Even double teams, it's like, you get an initial push, but then it stops. Where last year it was wash, right? Like we were getting washed out of that because you didn't have Jonathan Hankins till later on in the season. But boy, I don't know how you can watch the Mozzie tape and not get excited about some of the things that you saw on film, man.
Right, exactly. Because again, he's learning how to play at the spot. He can talk about him not getting off the ball the way he wants to, or the way he sees other people getting off the ball, but that will come with experience. That'll come with reps, and it'll come with he gets an off season on the pro off season under his belt, and you think that's a big boy now. Yeah. Oh my God!
All right, hey, appreciate you, Marcus.
So he's gonna do the thing. Yeah, go ahead, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Salute. Apologies if I'm a little bit short on these. I'm trying to get through everybody today. I knew today was going to be one of them ones, and it absolutely has been. Over 1,000 of y'all were in this chat. Please, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this content that we giving. This is just the precursor to the season, man. It's going to be a fantastic season, and we're already seeing some of it. And this is just, like I said, a little bit of what we're going to give you coming up. But, I mean, I'm having a blast talking actual football today. Y'all killing it in the chat. Great call so far. And let's keep going, man, with Jake the Great. What's good, Jake?
What's happening, Scott Walker? Good morning. Bomb Squad, what's happening? Man, Scott Walker, I'm get straight to it, man. I'm not surprised on what Deuce did on the first preseason game because I kind of seen it. He can just call me Mr. Cleo because I seen it through my crystal ball. I said, man, when the game starts, Deuce and Rico going to separate themselves because I might not be an offensive lineman guru, but I know a little something about running backs. And when both them boys put their foot in the ground, hey, man, it's over. Rico, he's going to replace that short yardage back. Sorry, Zeke, he ain't coming back this year, man. Good luck to you in New England. But Rico going to do the thing. Sorry that he had that fumble. But I seen physicality from Rico. I seen that he's willing to step in and make that block. And one of the things that I seen, Scott, were when I seen the play calling, man, I was grinning, but it brought a tear to my eye. When I seen them screams, I said, yes. Finally,
We
man.
got 2 of them off.
We have
yeah.
all these explosive players. Ah, man, it's good to see. Good to see. And last but not least, man, I think Curse was sweating bullets on that game because his replacement was on that field. Overshown, he is the next big nickel. He is the linebacker. He will be the weapon of mass destruction. That's all I got. Jake the Great, I'm out. Have a great day, Bomb Squad.
Salute. Let me say, man, is he the next Curse though? Because he might just be the next linebacker. Like he showed me he can do linebacker thing. Then again, preseason, whatever, right? But he showed me he can do linebacker things, man. Bell kind of was playing that Curse role yesterday, and again, he led the team in 10 tackles, had 4 stops. But whatever, again, I keep saying it until he proves me otherwise. But whatever they ask him to do, this kid is going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out. He's been doing it his entire career, from high school to college, now early in his career professionally. I did happen to catch a super chat that came in here, and a bit of a not really a transition, but almost pressed the wrong one.
Super chat.
The wordologist, he says John Stevens had more production in one preseason game than Sean McKeon in his entire career. Sure, that's absolutely true. John Stevens, I said this, was it last week, y'all, when we were talking about who I think he's battling? I still don't think it's McEwen. Now, look, McEwen could be the one out. He absolutely could. But the reason why I don't think it's McEwen is because you would be redundant then in that room. And what I mean by redundant is Hendershot and John Stevens kind of are similar. And then you're going to have a guy like Schoonmaker they want to make a little bit better as a pass catcher. McEwen is doing things that they're not really going to do with anybody else. Like Jake Ferguson can line up at H-back, but not fullback, right? They're not going to put Luke Schoonmaker at fullback most of the game. And if they don't carry a Hunter Lipke, Schoonmaker can be that guy. So if you're looking to kind of keep the balance in that room, I think John Stevens and Hendershot can be in my opinion, I said this last week, can be the guy that you look at. If you're looking to say, well, no Sky, Hendershot's safe, this is your guy, he's going to be here, then yes, it is McEwen. It's going to be a guy in McEwen that you say, okay, look, man, let's see if we can sneak you on the practice squad. At this moment, though, I think they still value what McEwen can bring. Just look at the snap count. Now, that was the first game. But Sean McEwen, I believe, had like 9 snaps, something like that. And there was 9 for McEwen, 9 or 10 for Ferguson, 14 for Hendershot. So that kind of goes to show you how they feel. Because if they were looking to evaluate McEwen even more, I think he plays more snaps. Now, with that said, going into week 2 of preseason, maybe they say, okay, let's battle it out amongst these 3. We're just going to use all 3. Amongst these 3. Now I think you'll see an increase in all their snaps, except for John Stevens. He played 33 snaps, most among all tight ends by far, or somewhere around there. I think it was like 30-ish snaps. But John Stevens has definitely got the attention of the bottom of that roster in that room. And real quick, if I may here, I should have pulled this up prior to the show. Just give me a second here, because I want y'all to see this man's face. I want y'all to see this man's face. Let me go here real quick. Let me go there, and let me pull this up right quick. Just be patient with me. Be patient with me. Here we go. This gentleman. Shouts out to Aisha. Luna Wells. I want to, and we've done this before, but I'm doing it again. I want to give public flowers to tight ends coach Lunda Wells. I put this on Twitter yesterday. Lunda Wells has done a fantastic job in the development of these young tight ends since being here. From Ferg looking like another mid-round starter to undrafted free agent John Stevens Jr., a converted wide receiver to tight end developing in his first camp/preseason. Here's your flowers, sir. It goes even further back than that, man. I had forgotten, like, when did he come in? Because I think he had something to do with Schultz. So he got here, COVID year, 2020. Just so happens That was Dalton Schultz coming out party. And you could say, well, maybe Schultz was already developing, but Lunda Wells got here, and I personally think had something to do with Schultz's development. We saw what Ferguson looked like his rookie year and the development right now in his second year. Peyton Hendershot, an undrafted guy. Look, I said he might be fighting with Stevens, but in reality, he's a guy that still is going to be on somebody's roster if he's not here, which he probably will be. But he helped in his development. Hendershot was a guy that was like, hey, can he block? And he is not going to be a warrior blocking, but he did well enough to earn playing time and got playing time out there. Another one, John Stevens Jr., undrafted free agent, converting from wide receiver to tight end. Not easy to do in this league. And he is out there making plays at camp and translated it to the field late in the game against the Jaguars. So, Lunda Wells, you deserve some flowers, sir. This is a guy that we won't probably talk about much during the regular season, but I think is worthy to note that I think is behind a lot of the development you see with these guys. And he even did it for Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram can't catch for nothing. He's got talent or whatever, but I think he helped take Evan Ingram, or elevate, I should say, Evan Ingram to now where he got the bag over there in Jacksonville. So shouts out to Lunda Wells, man. I just wanted to make sure I gave him his flowers. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. 757, you are live. How you feeling?
Hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing, man?
Man, again, I'm just so happy right now. If y'all can't tell, Cowboy football to review and talk with y'all, man. I'm excited.
Most definitely, man. I've been watching you for about 2 years now, man. This is my first time calling, so I just want to give you your flowers and tell you I definitely appreciate everything you do, man.
Thank you, brother.
Most
Welcome
definitely.
to the show.
But I'm gonna try to be quick. This is what I want to say. Don't everybody count out Malik Davis yet. He was going against the starting defensive line for Jacksonville, again with our backup line that looked horrible. We already know Josh Ball. I don't know if you any familiar with A Living Color, but hated it. Oh my God, he just got to go.
You did not just pull the hated.
Hated it. Like he just got to go. We all know that. Damone Clark.
I might have to steal that one, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can have it. Just remember, Pat from Norfolk, Virginia. But listen,
that's funny.
Damone Clark is definitely about to be a guy.
Yeah.
He every time you seen a tackle, 33 was near it. Every single time. It was crazy. Jake Ferguson looked real good, and Rico Dowdle looked pretty decent himself. He ain't look bad. You gotta figure out the line. But God dang it. What was the last one I had for you? Oh, Deuce Vaughn. This just his first 3 runs, the first thing I said was, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like to me, he's a running back 2 right now. Like he's a running back 2-3 with Rico, but he just can do everything. He just got a certain switch that he can hit that the other guys don't really got.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But
yes.
He just got a certain he do something special, and then his little team tail get behind that line, man, and they can't find him, and then he pop out. You like, oh man.
Yeah, because Deuce. I said this we were looking at the early portion of the roster last week, and again they had Deuce behind everybody. I'm like, look, let's not overreact to this. Don't get it twisted. Deuce Vaughn is going to be I don't call it package, but he's going to be a player that's going to have packages, or going to have times where he's getting the rock, 6, 7 or more times a game, because he has a skill set that you can consider elite when none of these other guys really have that, right? That doesn't mean that he's going to be a workhorse back, but that means he has a specific set of skills, right? That you can get involved every week, that teams either have to game plan for, or if they don't, they just go and mess around and find out there. And that's what Jaguars did, right? You can call him whatever you want to call him, Oshkosh, Bagosh, you can call him Carters, you can call him whatever you want to call him out there. He little, but he gonna make you miss, and that's one of his elite traits.
Most definitely, man. Our running back is really like we went from just Zeke and him to him and Zeke and Pollard to all 4 of them. Like them boys look good. The guy from North Dakota, he might be in trouble. He he probably ain't gonna see it. He probably ain't gonna see the field. But
yeah, I'm
still
practice
I'm
squad.
so intrigued. Yeah, most definitely practice squad. Ferguson gonna be a guy, man. 700 yards and about 6 touchdowns this year. I guarantee you that he gonna be a guy.
Yeah.
Scoot, he gonna start over Scoot, in my opinion. He gonna start over Shoemaker.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even think that's debatable. I mean, Schoonmaker's way behind the line here with the injury, but even then, like Ferguson he's tight in one. Man. I really don't know what else he needs to show people. There's enough tape last year. He's doing well in camp. He's doing well. He did well in the game. People doubt that he can get up the seam. He showed you that. People doubt he can catch the ball, run after the catch, which is wild to me because he was one of the top tight ends last year in doing so. Even yesterday, he might have not had an opportunity to make people miss, but if you look at the time he caught the ball and the yards he got after it, he averaged about 5 or so yards.
We don't even need him to make nobody miss. We don't need him to make nobody miss. Just catch the ball to get the first down. Let's go. But listen, let me say one more thing. Isaiah Land.
Yeah.
That boy can play. That boy can play.
Yeah, he got some traits, man. He got some traits that showed out for you.
That boy can play. That boy can play. And Hopper look good, too. But I'm going to let you go. Like I said, appreciate everything you do, man. Keep on grinding, Jack.
Salute, man. Great call.
Most definitely. Appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do this another day, but there are definitely, and we talked about them, a handful of them. There were definitely a number of young guys, down roster guys that, okay, let's see them creep up, and not necessarily depth chart wise, but let's see them creep up in the game when they get a chance to get out there, so you can play against a little bit better competition just for evaluation purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love what Land did, love what Stevens did. Now let's see that against higher competition so we can get a better evaluation moving forward, because they did well enough, especially John Stevens kind of just took over in that last 3 minutes of the game. And Will Grier was like, hey, man, look, I've been throwing to this guy all camp. He's been fantastic. That's my guy, right? And it was Noah Brown, Cooper Rush last year. This year is Will Grier and John Stevens. And he came through for him, man, and made quality catches. And again, from a receiving standpoint, that didn't even what stood out to me, because those were just standardized receptions. It was the blocking. Can he progress? And again, we talked about Lunda Wells. Can he progress as a blocker enough to where they can trust him if need be? That's going to be, honestly, the thing that we should be watching moving forward with him. All right, we got 678 on the horn. What's good, 678?
Hey, what's going on, Scott? Can you hear me very well?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. Let me make this quick because I might run into some bad reception.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, after the game, I felt so much excited for this team for this year, for this season, and beyond. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why real quick. Because Overshown, man, oh my gosh, in year one, he showed me even leadership, hyping the team up.
Yeah.
I said, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Energy,
I said,
boy.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. And then made a big play with it. Along because of Mozzie Smith too. Man, I said, man, let's go, man. Let's go. Okay, and then too as well, I'm not surprised at all at Deuce Vaughn, because like I said, like I know you ain't surprised either. Like for the people that are ones that really scouted Deuce Vaughn, y'all already know what y'all gonna be getting. You already know what you're gonna be getting for Deuce Vaughn. He gonna do everything. He's very electric, just as Tony Pollard. Only thing about it, he's just short. Just like Vi said. Just short, that's it. And I'm 5'4" too as well. I'm young, I'm little too, so y'all stop playing my cousin, man. Y'all better stop playing my twin.
Hey,
so cause hey, don't let outside fool you now.
Now
what
listen,
you about to say, Scott?
I made a tweet, right? Because I'm a vertically challenged brother as well. I made a tweet on Twitter. I said, man, I did the meme where I was like the clapping because I was, happy tears. I said, man, shout out to my vertically challenged brother that went out there and showed out and let everybody know size does not matter in that department.
Oh yeah, you did say that. You did say that. I seen it
in that department. That's all.
I seen it. And then one more thing too, sir. Yes, I'm getting ready to cut Cindy. If I was Mike, I'd be getting ready to cut Cindy because Cindy.
Send me. I thought you said Cindy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Cindy, because it just I don't see nothing special with him, man. He just catch the ball if he catch the ball. If he catch the ball, then that's it. I don't see nothing special or anything like that. I feel like Brooks. I feel like Brooks a little bit more better than Simi.
So let me say, and this is what's interesting about preseason. Brooks did. I don't know if it was maybe the quarterbacks, whatever, but he didn't really get a chance to kind of get going in that game.
He didn't.
Where Simi did. Simi had a couple catches in this game, big catches too, converted first downs, big plays or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how do we not acknowledge that? Because I know we're definitely down on Simi's camp. It was an up and down camp, right? But I wouldn't say this was an up and down game. I think he came through when he had to, but it wasn't like it was eye popping. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Jalen Tolbert.
Right.
You know what I mean? So is it enough to move the needle between Simi and Jalen? Here's what I will say though, brother. I will say we can't ignore it. And yes, he is making up that ground that he lost from Jalen Brooks. So that competition is still on. It's not over. We still have 2 more games in training camp. So now let's see how they carry that over to training camp, and let's see who makes the jump next week.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is right now is I'm still let the preseason continue going right now. It's just, but right now I'm still liking a little bit of Brooks. I just feel like with Dak Prescott throwing the ball to him, I can see him playing a lot better than Simi. That's all I'm saying. But thank you, though, Scott. Appreciate it, man. You have a good one.
Salute. Hey, Brother L, that's dead wrong, bro. Why you doing me like that? Brother L said, by the way, man, y'all still 1K up in here. We say this in Harrisburg, 1K. Hit that like button. Come on, Brother L. Brother L said, well, if I ever lose anything in my air vents, I'll call Deuce or Sky to handle it. Now, wait a minute, sir. I thought we were better than that. Anyway, let's get back to the lie. 561, what it do?
Hey, good morning, man. This is Florida Cowboy, man. First time caller, long time listener. One thing I want to call out is that I don't think people understand what they're seeing right now with Overshown. For me, at least, he was a guy we were thinking about as more of a project and not really playing this year as much. Now, what we're seeing, this thing has been fast track. So, to your point earlier, man, LVE, don't get hurt.
Hey, fam, I will raise my hand. I was one that said, I don't know where to box this dude at right now because you can't, right? There's nowhere to put him in a box. And he's probably going to be like a package player or whatever, maybe downhill year one. I said, I just don't know yet. Let me just see what they do when they get out there. He got out there at camp. He gets out there at preseason. And I'm like, hey, dog, like this might not be oh, hey, we'll bring him in here to rush the passer. This might be one of those situations where if LVE or Damone Clark go down, Overshown can go in there and make some plays for you. So, I'll be the first to admit that I was waiting to see what he was going to be. And this first game, I know it's preseason, right? But from a linebacker standpoint, I saw a lot of great things in him continuing to develop at that position. That got me excited to the point where it's like, is the future closer than later? Like, is it sooner rather than later, bro? It could be. So LVE better stay healthy.
Absolutely. And one last thing before you wrap, man. Let's just say, man, Cowboys love child. He's a problem. I would love to see him get some looks with Dak at some point.
Who's that?
But at some point, man, John Stephen Jones.
Oh, okay. I got it. I got you. John Stephen. He actually got a son, I think, John Stevens Jones Jr. But yeah, anyway, yeah.
He might have one more that Pete up on our roster, but he get out there with the ones. He get out there with the ones, man. I'd love to see what he can do. Big body, nice frame control, and maybe can block a little bit. Could be a problem, man. Keep up the great work, you and Botch. I'll tap in with y'all later. Florida Cowboy out.
Hey, good stuff. Vouch show gonna be I can't wait for that. Yeah, man, I think he's one of those dudes where, and again, maybe we'll talk about this in another show, where he's a guy that has earned through this game, obviously in camp, earned the right to creep back up there. Let's see him with, instead of in the bottom of the ninth inning, right, the bottom of the fourth quarter, let's see him in the second quarter, right, with probably still be Will Greer. And honestly, I don't mind if it's Will Greer. I just want to see the competition. I don't really, because he's not playing with Dak. Dak's not going to play out there, and your guy is your guy. And talking about Jake Ferguson. But Will Greer, Cooper Rush, I don't really think that matters from a quarterback standpoint. I want to see him against the other guys, the competition, right? So instead of playing against the practice squad, I want to see him against the second team, or somebody's first team if he has a chance to be out there. Because, again, I don't need to see any more from Jake. I don't. This guy, he's only his second year. He needs more reps. What more do you want? He's got film last year. He showed you in week 1. He only played in preseason. He only played 10 snaps anyway. I mean, what more do you want to see? So I'm at the point where it's like, hey, look, maybe you get him out there for one more series and then you let, Luke Schoonmaker, who, by the way, Luke, he got out there, made a catch, and he looks like the foot injury is not bothering him. So we want to see Luke get more, honestly. I mean, we talk about John Stevens. Yeah, let him creep up there too. But, hey, Jake, have a seat. I don't really need to see more from you. Let's see more from Luke. Let's see more from John Stevens. Let's see Peyton Hendershot kind of make a little bit of noise here. Let's see these other tight ends. So, yeah, I'm with you. I would like to see him with better competition. But I still got 561 away. I forgot to mute. My writing brother in 214. We're gonna hit these super chats. What's good, Mr. Ronnie? That's the name, Mr. Ronnie. What's up, Mr. Ronnie?
How you doing? Good morning. God bless you and the show and your family.
Thank you, sir.
And your boy Voss and his family.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I love the way, even though it's preseason, but I like the way McCarthy was calling the game. You can see a difference already. And Jamal Clark, to me, he was the best player of the defense. Even though it was preseason, Overshawn's going to be a beast. And I think Jalen Turbert, now we're going to really see him develop because being that he got better routes that he can run, it's not those crazy routes that Cullimore have him running. He's going to be something special too. And Deuce Vaughn, people shouldn't be surprised with him because he's a special talent. And I'm not comparing him to Barry Sanders, but there's this one run that he did where he stopped on the drop of a dime and did like that shake move. And everybody's not born with that gift.
No.
You know where I'm coming from, right, Will?
Oh, 100%. He has an elite trait. I'm not saying he's elite, but he has an elite trait, bro. Okay. Like, there's not many dudes in the league that can stop on a dime like him and make dudes miss. And he's a rookie. But again, he's a running back. This is why I say, rookie running backs can come in here and they can produce for you because it's a position that's a young man's game. And that is one of the most heaviest trait-based positions in the league because they're not really – it's about what's happening in front of them. And if it's not blocked up well, can you make somebody miss? And Deuce can do it.
Yeah, and exactly. Being that he's so small and the way – and what I like is his patience. The way when he lets the block sets up, then he picks his hole. And that's a sign of a great running back. Because, a lot of running backs, they come in, they want to run in quick. Sure. He knows he's good. And also, too, I got one more thing. People, relax with Mozzie. Mozzie did a great job. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but did you see all the double teams that he was picking up that let a lot of linebackers run free? I mean, if people who know football, that's his job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his job. But what do people want him to do? Just wreck everything in front of him? Nah, he's going to be good for it. And like I like what McCarthy's doing with that offense. Did you notice, even though it was a preseason game, but it wasn't like the play calling was good play calling. It wasn't like you was like, okay, what the heck is going to happen next? Did you feel like that vibe?
So I would admit I don't watch preseason for the play calling. Because you're vanilla, you're not doing anything that's going to show you anything in the preseason. In the regular season. So I'm not looking at flow. I'm not looking at tendencies. I'm just looking at how are these dudes executing it because you're not giving away anything. So, I mean, only thing I will say is that, hey, we saw some screens. We did see more.
That's what I'm trying to come at because we wasn't doing nothing crazy. Even though, like you said, it's vanilla, but we wasn't doing nothing crazy. That's what made me feel better. But that's all I got for today, my brother. And God bless you and your brother, Vosh, and always keep up the good work. And you know how we do. PA all the way.
Yes, sir. 717. Stand
all
up.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Yeah, man. There's really not much to gain from a play calling standpoint in preseason. And I thought this was ironic. This was hilarious, honestly, more than ironic. So y'all know what the very first play of the game was? It was all curls. All curls. Like all four of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 across, sticks, all curls. So, and I don't know, and look, this is just sadistic side of me. I'm wondering, Mike McCarthy do that on purpose. But no, see, I'm not taking away anything from a play calling standpoint. You're not gonna get anything. But I wanted to see, hey, did we see any of the West Coast stuff in there? And we did. We saw some West Coast stuff, and you saw Cooper Rush and Will Greer get the ball out quicker. That's because of West Coast. Here's another thing you saw. You saw these wide receivers playing way more faster than they have been over the years. These young guys playing way more sure of themselves, and all the way down to Dennis Houston, who had a series in there where it was, hey, Dennis Houston. All these guys were boom, 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 and playing way more confident than before. And I think a lot of that has to do with the scheme. But I think the true test of the play calling aspect will come week 1 to week 4, right? Where we'll be able to get game plan tendencies. We'll be able to see from a schematic standpoint more concepts and whatnot. But it was tough it's going to be tough in preseason, man. They're not giving you anything. But I do want to go back to this. I absolutely do want to go back to this because this was, again, a very underrated aspect of this game was Schottenheimer being down there on the sidelines, right? And getting Will Greer back in this thing. Will Greer was frustrated. You saw it. The pressure was terrible. He just couldn't. He was just flustered. And having Brian Schottenheimer down there, to me, man, it could be a big deal moving forward. And again, this is what I put on Twitter about it. I said, random thing I liked seeing from today's game. Shotty talked about whether he be in the booth or on the sideline. He's on the sidelines today, and he's very active with the quarterbacks. Shotty as a third eye and a guy who has the natural energy to motivate and push you could be a bonus come game day. What do I mean by that, Sky? Or what do you mean by that, Sky? Let's just say I don't think that was the bottom part. Motivate and push you. That wasn't the case previously, right? But the third eye. This is interesting because as a coordinator, this is why I always wanted Kellen in the booth, because he's a smart guy, right? This is something where, hey, if I see it, he's not a feel guy. He hasn't played enough. He hasn't coached long enough to understand feel. These are my plays. This is what I think is going to work. We're going to try to outsmart him or whatever. We're going to run what I run. That's why I want him in the booth, because he can see this and be like, you know what? That ain't working, but we can maybe get him here. Where Schottenheimer been around this thing. He's been here in the league for 20-something years. 20-something years. He's been in the booth. He's been on the ground. He's been everywhere. The difference, he's not calling plays, right? And it didn't hit me until I saw Schottenheimer out there. It did not hit me until I saw this. Because I was like, hey, man, let's get Shotty in the booth so he can phone down there. Hey, coach, this is what we saying. Boom, 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 boom. But I was like, you know what? McCarthy has never been in the booth. He's been a fine play caller. He doesn't need to be in the booth. Schottenheimer's not going to call plays. And in reality, when you're in the heat of the battle, you're not going to be able to get everything down there after every single play. You're going to have spots where you can say this and say that. Where can he be best utilized? It's down there. Why? Because he can do this. And he's a guy that Dak can look to and, hey, I'm listening. Again, no offense to the previous, but that was my teammate. That was my roommate. That was my buddy. Shotty ain't sugarcoating a damn thing. Hey, Dak, we don't want that read right here. Check it down. If it has to be delivered that way. Or, hey, man, I know we completed it here, but next time, look off the safety and we got this post coming backside. Or just flat out, that's what I'm talking about, Dak. Let's get it, baby. Can you imagine the other? Like, he's not pushing you in that manner. Again, no knock, but not everybody is built like that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can lead in that way. Listen to Schottenheimer. Go listen to him. And McCarthy going to do the same thing. He's going to hold Dak accountable as well, but McCarthy has to think big picture, right? He has to also worry about the receivers and worry about the play calling and worry about just the big picture, game management and whatnot. So having Shotty be that third eye and that filter that can relay what Mike McCarthy wants to do down to his quarterbacks and down to Dak Prescott is something small on game day that can make a big difference when things get tight. I mean, how many times have we saw, and again, you don't have to do this after every play, but I watch Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy constantly with their quarterback, Pat Mahomes. Sean Payton constantly with Drew Brees, right? McVay, Shanahan, these guys are involved with the cues. We didn't really see that before. I think we'll see that this year with Shotty, with McCarthy. They're going to be, and because again, they have the experience. They, not saying bro was afraid, but I mean that ain't who he is. But they have the gall as well to kind of say, hey, I know what it takes to get somewhere you and we have not been as a unit. So listen to me when I talk. Last call of the day. What's good, 214?
Hey, morning, Scott.
Good morning.
That was a great perspective for Scotty and Scotty being on the sideline. I didn't even think about that last night or when the game was going on.
Thank you.
I will. The reason why I was calling in is because I was thinking about 3 overreactions. But
Let's do it.
I do see. First off, I do see what you just talked about. I do see Scotty McCarthy, Coach McCarthy, and Dak being inside joke guys. So that first play being stick routes, as you mentioned, was for sure a troll job.
You think it was a little bit trolling?
Guys, but
I thought that was interesting.
It was trolling there a little bit.
Yeah,
but the 3 overreactions, real quick, are obviously we all saw the 3rd and 1 from Overshown stop. That's a huge play. I remember I called him last year, and we were seeing Damone Clark make some really, really fast plays. And I think Overshown is for sure taking Van Der Esch's job. We saw first day of pads, Van Der Esch is working on the edge, so that could be something there. But another overreaction is Stevenson not only dominating that last drive, but it's 4th down, and I mean everyone knows where the ball is going, and he still finds a way to get open. I mean that's just as big as that 3rd and 1 play. And the last overreaction is not only the missed field or an extra point, but you take the ball off. One of them goes through the back of the end zone, and then the next one doesn't even make it to the end line or the front of the end zone. And so that's 2 huge red flags. Those 2 plays happen too often in a game. I think the kicker's got to go right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Aubrey is. Look, you can't miss the easy ones. I know he has a leg that honestly we didn't really get a chance to see at camp, but he booted a 56-yarder pregame, and then he was booming these kicks out of bounds during the kickoff. So again, they like a big leg, so I think he's still going to be here, and he made up for the missed kick, but you can't miss. Not in this time where we're looking for quality at the position. So I wonder if they're going to go out and bring in more competition. So we'll see.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything, Scott. You have a good one.
All right, man. Good stuff from 214. Now to do it for the phone calls today, man. Really good timing, honestly. Y'all were smooth with them. We got good conversation with it. The chat has been absolutely fantastic. So let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats. That's my guy would say.
Super chats.
Chris, a.k.a. We Don't Wife Them 304s. Did you notice Clark on the edge a few times? Another thing that Clark can do, right? He did that last year. In fact, I think it was during the Bears game, one of his best plays was rushing the passer, and he got, I think it was Justin Fields. He got Justin Fields to kind of come off his read and pressured him, and he didn't get the sack, but that was from blitzing off the edge. But yeah, I think you're going to see Damone, you'll see DeMarvion, obviously LVE. They're going to have some plays where on the edge, just like they did last year. Randy
Super chat.
Stipes dropped 5. So Do you feel Deuce has elevated to RB2 conversation? Well, I mean, if you look at our thing right here, RB Deuce. Look, man, I don't care what you want to call it. You can call it RB2. You can call it RB3. You can call it special players, special pack, whatever. Deuce needs to get the rock on game day, say 7 minimum to 10 times, right? 7 to damn 10 times. That's that minimum, right? So there still seems to be this overall consensus. Hey, we need a power guy. Fair. If you don't believe Rico is that guy, I would like to see Rico take more attempts at that. But again, I said this last week when I was talking about, hey, we're going to see 4 on this roster. And look, I joked earlier and said, throw that out the window. Let's be honest. More data has now been presented that I don't know. At this moment, August 14th, I don't know about no damn 4 running backs. Malik Davis is going to have to step up next week. And I know the callers say, hey, man, don't sleep on Malik. Don't write him off yet. Fair. That's fair. I'm not going to write off Malik Davis just yet. But overreaction Monday. So if we're moving the needle here a little bit, we're moving the goalpost a little bit. Yeah, it looks like those are your 3. But I don't care if you have a Jerome Bettis on this team or not. I don't. If you do, that's great. But again, it's going to have to be a guy that can he play special teams? Because you're going to be RB 3 or 4 on this team, and B, are you okay with only getting the rock a handful of times a game? You got Tony Pollard, and you're going to have a committee approach. That's how I look at it. So if that committee is, hey, Rico's going to get 7 to 10, and then Deuce is going to get 7 to 10, and that's how we do it. RB2, at this point, I don't care. That man right there needs to get the rock on game days at least 7 to 10 times. And if he's feeling it, keep it going. Because this isn't a gadget player. This dude can run the rock. Yeah, he's a satellite guy because he can get out in space and make you miss. But this guy can actually tote the rock. Not saying he need to tote it 20, 25 times a game. But if you get into a situation where it's just tough on teams because he's running well, hey, we got him 15, 17 times this game. Maybe next game it's only 10. Right? So I don't really care what you want to label Deuce, bro. Just give him the ball. Give him the ball.
Super chat.
FRK 180 dropped 10. Appreciate you, man. He said best morning show in the business. That's what I'm aiming for, man. That's what I'm aiming for. I appreciate that, 180.
Super chat.
Chris dropped another one. He said, imagine Micah and D-Law with that interior D-line. And this is the thing about preseason. We're just, especially because our starters are not playing, we got to kind of envision that instead of seeing it. But we just know when you insert these type of players with what we're seeing on the interior. And I think all the interior guys, I think Osa, Neville, I think Neville had a solid outing too. Osa, Neville, Bohanna, and Mozzie all showed that grit on the inside. So now when you throw out D-Law and Micah and you got Sam and Dorrance and hello Dante Fowler with the tackle for loss. Come on, man. Come on. Marcus Rowe.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, McCarthy called a good game in the second half. Turning Deuce loose helped, but the O settled a bit and kept drives alive. About damn time. Yeah, I mean, again, on the call in the game, I don't really know what you could gain from it, but look, man, yeah, getting Deuce involved in that second quarter, I think was big time. Or in the second half, I'm sorry, I think was big time. Because you needed to see what and you knew you were going to see. You knew at one point Deuce was going to be involved. And if you guys remember during all of this offseason talk, we had Deuce Vaughn as the MVP or whatever you want to call it, the most electric player of preseason. It's always the running back, but we haven't had a running back like this. So whenever he got inserted in that game, you just knew that Deuce was going to do Deuce Vaughn things because he's like that in regards to making dudes miss, in regards to being electric and explosive. And look, this ain't, again, Fred Warner and them boys out there. So he was definitely going to stand out, and that's exactly what he did. And that's what Smoke said. He said, look, man, I told you.
Super chat.
Or first, I told you so, guy. I don't know who you told about Deuce Vaughn, us talking about Deuce Vaughn after the preseason game. We all knew we were going to be talking about Deuce Vaughn after the preseason game. And he says Stevens as well. He says, we know what we know now. Go Boys. Don't know what that means, but yeah, Deuce Vaughn, I think, is going to continue to be the MVP of the preseason, in my opinion. And he just dropped another one.
Super chat.
And he says, Sky, I just think we played the Jaguars first team versus our second team and held our own on both sides. Just imagine with the first team, we come in like Deion say. I'm more impressed. Well, our first team offense didn't do nothing against the Jaguars first team defense for the most part, except say Ferguson. I give Austin Richards too. But I'm more impressed of our defense, what it did to their first team offense. And if it wasn't for Kevontae Turpin, I don't think they get in the end zone. Kevontae Turpin's fumbles, and next thing you know, they have a third shot at it. And at some point, those starters are going to overwhelm your backups at some point. But to start off the game, shit, they ain't do that. They ain't do that at all. A couple more came in as we were talking here. A bunch of them came in. Salute to y'all. Let's start at the bottom.
Super chat.
Brother L said, he dropped 5. He said, the Bomb Squad is elite, man. The show within the show. Salute. Studio to be determined. Hashtag studio to be determined. I say this all the time. For those that are new, I'm telling you right now, you definitely want to hit that sub button. If you don't like me, cool. But the chat is fantastic. Sometimes it is definitely, I say this all the time, a show within the show, like L said. So do your boy a favor, man. Hit that like button and join up, subscribe, and be a part of this thing. John Phelps.
Super chat.
He said Deuce needs 8 to 12 a game and at least 5 targets per game. Jake Ferguson has proven why we should have went O-line in the second round. That last part is what everybody was saying, and y'all know how I feel. I never saw the need. I just never saw the need in the first or second round for a tight end. If you wanted to go tight end, I think you could have waited. But it is what it is. Lou Schoolmaker is here. Let's hope he progresses and is able to kind of snatch that tight end 2 role, because that tight end 2 is going to need to be able to block, right? And then be able to catch some passes when he needs to. So let's just continue to push for him. But yeah, we definitely need O-line help for sure. B.
Super chat.
Dropped 5 and said, yeah, linebackers squabbling. Yeah, they was out there squabbling, bro.
Yeah, they squabbling out there now. Yeah.
Overshown will be a legend. 2, Ferg as next Kelsey begins versus Giants. 3, TP and Deuce are going to get receptions. Yes. I mean, there's a lot to unpack right there, right? I'm going to start with the Ferg and TP or just talk about them. Do I believe I Love Romo 629-111? Or do I believe Kelsey, who came out and said, hey, man, that cat down there in Dallas is who I'm looking at. He's something. I'm going to believe Kelsey. And he continues to show it. What's good, Lamitra? What's happening in the chat? What's happening in the chat? I've been smoothing through the show here, but now I got time for the little bit of the mess. So what's happening in the chat? Don't let me come through here and see what's good. And then Randy Stites dropped another one. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
Told you the heel sky is here. I'm tired of the mess. He dropped 5 and said, with Zach at 32, but about to be 30. With 2 years left on his current deal, are you willing to start a new deal when he's 35? I see why JJ is playing hardball. Look, I see both sides, but we're talking about Zach Martin. Figure it out and get him on the field. Randy Stites, you watched that, right? You watched what happened yesterday, right? You've been watching camp, right? Figure it out, get on the field. I don't care who has to cave. I don't care if you have to make compromises on both sides. Get your best offensive lineman on that damn field because he's needed. You do not have a reliable interior guy right now. So, as I said from the beginning of this whole thing, I get both sides. I do. I can care less that Zach Martin's 32. Zach Martin is playing a position where you can play at an elite level well into your 30s, and he's still playing at that level. Zach Martin is the best guard in the National Football League at 32, turning 33. I don't care if you have to extend him to 35. That doesn't bother me not one bit. I'm trying to win 6. If you're worried about capping 2026, 2027, then you ain't trying to win 6. You're worried about capping 2026, 2027. But I get it, right? You got the contract. You got to play it out, as everybody says. But they can easily say, you know what, we're moving on, cut. Just like that. So I'm over that, man. We got football to talk about. So we good in the chat. We good in the chat. I can't find what happened. Usually I scroll up, you know, and I find a mess, but it seemed like I can't find a mess, so I'll leave it at that. Not going to end a fantastic show with the mess. Well, a little bit of mess here. JoJo dropped 2. This is strange.
Super chat.
Sign Jamil Showers as backup quarterback. Greer sucks. Hey, dog. I mean, Will Greer is a 3rd string quarterback, by the way. Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback. Cooper Rush, I think, has earned the trust of this team and this coaching staff. Will Greer is his quarterback 3. I know you're joking about Jamil Showers. At least I hope you are. But I mean, I'm not about to be tripping about quarterback 3. If he has to be answered in the game, at least he can move around. Right? But I'll leave it at that. Good stuff today. You can catch me later on the Voch Lombardi live show about 3:15. We will be covering this game again, this time with the analysis and observations of the one and only my brother Voch Lombardi. Should be a great show, man. Will be a great show. So make sure y'all come through. A to Z Sports Primetime later tonight. Mo recapped the game yesterday. He'll continue to do that. Today, we'll probably hear from more players and coaches. So we'll have a little bit more to talk about tomorrow. And honestly, we'll pick up. Because again, we covered a lot today. We did. But I still feel like there's small things that we can still hit on tomorrow. And I'll hear from you guys again on the Pulse of the Nation hotline. And just continue, man. Continue with this amazing season that I think the Cowboys are going to have. But football is back. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Love y'all to death. Let me go ahead and press this button. Get up out of here. Appreciate y'all. Bomb Squad, day ones. Do me a favor, man. If you're new, just understand this is the tip of the iceberg. We, every morning, Monday through Friday, we going to crush it for y'all. We going to crush it. New PC should be here this week, too. So, woo, it's about to be crazy, man. It's about to be crazy. Brother L said he didn't hear the yeah drop. Yeah.
Let me talk to you. Bomb Squad!